everyone, and welcome to the ProPokeBowl Season 5 Semifinals! I could have gone longer, but I decided not to, because I don't want to blow people's ears and eyes out. Oh god, that is a blessing by Gamma that I forgot to close. Welcome everybody to the semifinals. Tonight we crown a champion. Tonight we hand out the ProPokeBowl Championship Cup to our Season 5 competitor. For those who haven't been keeping up, let's show you where we've come from. That's the champions. Let's show you this first. Last week, if you didn't listen to the ProPokeBowl podcast before this, you should go back and listen to it after this week's session so that you can catch up and hear everything that happened if you need a little bit of background. But if you were here, you know that we do have two very exciting semifinal matches for you tonight. After a very close but reverse sweep coming out from I Am Groot, he'll be going up against the Fortnite Ninjas in our second match of the evening. But first, we got a series to clean up between Traverse City Thunderous and Manchester Manectric. Sharking looking very primed and ready to take the championship after his fantastic performance and first place finish in the ProPokeBowl Season 5 regular season. But we have three more people who are going for it. Three coaches, all former ProPokeBowl champions looking to make it the two-time for themselves, the first in ProPokeBowl history. And at the same time, if that happens, it's gonna be a big one, and let me show you why. Because there is one person here who was a Season 4 champion in Fortnite Ninjas. If they are crowned, they will have not only the first two-time in history, but consecutive back-to-back champions for ProPokeBowl. But let's take a look at all of the champions before them, as we have had Daggerdrome, who started off the entire domination throughout this journey back in 2015, December 21st. Was our first finals, and what a night it was to celebrate only 11 months after starting streaming. This has been going on for 4 years straight, and it's not stopping anytime soon. Ivan Valdez, that Season 2 champion back in October 25th, 2016. The Celebrity Edition, which was the halfway tournament to get everybody warmed up and advertised for Season 3. Sweet D comes out on May 15th, what is that, May 18th, 2017, there I can see. Followed up by Lord Scrummington, a name you don't see much more, but dominated nonetheless to be our Season 3 champ, October 25th, 2017. 2 years later, by the way, we'll be naming another champion, and that might be Mitch, after June 6th, 2018 went his way in dominating fashion. But I think now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start taking a look at the first two teams of tonight's semifinals. It will be Manchester Manectric versus Traverse City Thunders. I was looking for the thing, I swear, I didn't forget. Manchester Manectric played their heart out last week, but it didn't look that good as Ludo Cresselis were able to take it a little bit to them and bring them in, despite the fact that there was that timeout. It did go 3-1 in the favor of Manchester. You'll see on your screen that we have some colors. The green represents the Pokemon that have already been used in playoffs, so we can start tracking to see what comfort is going to be going through with all of these players. Now, the fun thing here is this doesn't matter as much as it would have before, because if we could track what Pokemon have been already used in the previous Season 4 and before format, their movesets would not have changed. With semifinals, we've got new movesets. So that means that we have to start tracking now, seeing what Pokemon they bring. But it does give us an idea into what Ivan and Sweetie did use in the quarterfinals to make sure that they can identify where their comfort zone is and what Pokemon they could be potentially using and to what effectiveness. All this has been updated with playoff statistics, so if you want to take a look at it, you could follow that straight and narrow. As you can see, 7 Pokemon were revealed here for Manchester Manectric, but does that matter? What he did reveal is there was a lot of offensive testing coming out here for Ivan. So if he is going to be going offensive again, I don't think he's going to win that here, so we're most likely going to see these defensive Pokemon coming out. Of course, his Kyurem Block will not make an appearance in the semifinals. That has been banned out by Traverse City Thunders, whereas the Traverse City Thunders lost to Alolan Ninetales. And I actually like this ban on the side for Manchester, because taking away a Pokemon that most likely has kind of threatened Ivan in the past and made it very difficult for him to manage, or if he didn't want to think about it, knowing how Ivan is playing, a lot of it is just raw damage, straight attacking, not worrying actually about the likes of wanting to set up and sweep. It's very much just putting the damage down and making it stick. So if he does that here and there's no Aurora Veil, no chip damage coming from the hail, I think that's how he's going to win it, but it could also signal he just want to deal with the hail damage, which will take away a lot of the healing. Officer DK, thank you for that 14-month resubscription. Appreciate it. Embrace the face. You're awesome. Welcome to the semifinals. But yeah, I think if it's going to matter here, we do have to take a look at that Darmanitan. What's that going to do? Is Salamence going to make an appearance? Are we going to see all these Pokemon that could be wrecking? Tapu Fini is a big problem considering that it has a dual stab that threatens a lot of Ivan's main Pokemon. The Nidoqueen's not going to like it, although, I mean, not that it's going to like a Sludge Wave back, but Absol's not going to like it very much. We have a lot of different Pokemon that can get hit by that Fini. It's going to be a big proprietor. I do expect to see a Stack Attack come in and try and manage it. Might see a bit of Trick Room action here, as we know a lot of Traverse City Thundurus is quite offensive, has a lot of speed to it too. We have seen him play through it against Ice Cold in the past, so I don't think it's going to be the biggest deal for him. As I mentioned, I do predict this heavily in favor of Traverse City Thundurus, but we want to see a good showing from Ivan. We believe in this man. We know that he can do it, and if he does make it through it, it's going to be a phenomenal showing for him, because really, it's such an uphill struggle to take a look at with being able to ignore, if we even tried to ignore, Shark King's absolute domination in this season. Yes, dropping 1-1s here and there, but it doesn't matter when at the end of the season, you are literally touted as the champion before battles have even started. That's domination. That's a mental thing that you could bring forward, and if Ivan can ignore that, we've got ourselves a good series, ladies and gentlemen. But I think for now, we do have to get into battle because the coaches are ready to go, and it's going to be the start of the semifinals between Manchester Manectric and Traverse City Thundurus. Please tell me this is set up correctly. Nope! Almost had it. 1 second. We're there. 1 second. Got there. There we go, ladies and gentlemen! Series number 1, game number 1. Manchester Manectric on your close side, Traverse City Thundurus on your far side. This is going to be interesting, as we've already seen. Now we've got this defensive thing coming out. The Necrozma is shown, the Roselia is shown, and on the opposite side of Traverse City Thundurus, actually seeing the Haunter come back out. That is a very interesting thing to note, but we do see the Fini, and we do see that basically that Aggron might be just Choice Band to try and manage things. If that's the case, it could be a good thing going here, but I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. That's a lot of bulk that we see Manchester have to break through, which kind of makes sense for Traverse City Thundurus to bring, considering that without the Aurora Veil, things are going to feel a little bit less safe. But it's going to be Nidoqueen versus the Darmanitan lead. Nidoqueen is not faster, does not also want to take a Flare Blitz. It would be very worth it, honestly, for Traverse to punch it in, because as much as actually Burninate could do a fair amount of damage here to the Necrozma, so it might just see a switch, a safer switch. Alolan Muck can come in pretty safely. Earth Power's not going to do anything to it if it's Assault Vest, and then you can go for the knockoff. Play a little bit safer, but at the same time, yeah, I see that too, Officer. I didn't want to see that. That's just weird. Why would they do that to us? But let's take a look at what we're actually going to be looking at here for these Pokemon coming in, because Ivan can't take too much damage. He knows Shark King will just take over the more damage is taken. The Alomola makes the safest switch here. The U-turn is going to be used on Darmanitan. I forgot that thing got U-turn. Man, Darmanitan's good. Now, Haunter coming in could signal that it has something like a Toxic or something safe for it to work with here. Might even have enough bulk to take a Scald. I don't know, but knockoff is a possibility on Alomomola. It was Shadow Ball being used, knowing that it can hit on the special side, do a fair amount of damage. But it is a good scout here for Manchester, just to see what he's going to be managing. Most likely can take a hit and regenerate and switch correctly, if need be. But the Haunter is putting itself at risk here staying in, because if knockoff comes through, that not even Alomomola will smack that thing down pretty low. So we'll have to see what the plan is. We could also see a trick happen from Traverse City Thundurus, but it didn't happen, so we don't know if it's choice. It could even just trick away a useless item just to get a Alomomola off of defense duty. Absol will be the Pokemon to come in. Sludge Wave will happen. That's a lot of damage. He didn't want to tank, but that was good value for Traverse City Thundurus. As yes, Absol could come in, but if rocks are set up, it's not coming back, as now Fini is the safest switch for it to happen. The Mega will come through, as knockoff will come out. At least it gets value. We'll get rid of the leftovers, but that is a Mega that's been dragged down significantly. Like I said, if rocks are not used correctly, Mega Absol can bounce it back, but nonetheless, Moonblast will come out, as Roselia can take it up. Roselia actually being a very good answer to Tapu Fini outside of Ice Beam. Ice Beam's going to to hurt, but Taunt happens instead, as Leech Seed will not be used. Ivan potentially predicting a switch to catch that off. Being on the offense now could actually mean that Traverse City could just switch to something pretty safe here. Darmanitan will be sent in as the Nidoqueen's also sent in. We're back to turn number 1, ladies and gentlemen, which is, not where you want to be if you are Ivan, but he stays in on the U-turn. This is going to be now Traverse City Thunder is predicting what move's going to be used. Most likely Earth Power coming out, unless he predicts that a normal hit's going to be coming in. Alolan Muck is the safest with everything, as Thunderbolt was used most likely to either get the Gyarados on a super aggressive switch or get the Haunter because of it having Levitate. But my god, that was a fair amount of damage done to what we could assume to be an Assault Vest. Alolan Muck, as the knockoff will come through, it will take off the Nidoqueen's item in the form of its Life Orb. So actually an offensive Nidoqueen this time around. The Haunter's going to make his way in as the Earth Power is going to miss because of Levitate. And we should have told from that Life, like that Sheer Force Life Orb should have been noted because it was almost 50% done to an Alolan Muck. Alolan Muck is a big, bulky pile of sludge. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I quickly forgot, you can vote on who's going to advance to the finals. You'll have 1 minute here. Get your, oh, that's the wrong vote. Hold on. This is too early in the match to tell, so you guys can vote here for a minute. Go for it. My bad. The taunt comes out from the, what's it called? Comes out from the Haunter as well, and it will get another pile of damage done to Roselia. So we're already seeing Roselia having to be sacked off. The Absol's brought really low. There's no healing that's going to be coming in effectively from the Alomomola. So what item do we see on this Haunter? We don't really know yet. But nonetheless, the Feeny is going to make its way back in. We do have to keep that in mind. But now Thunderbolt is going to come in on the Haunter, as the Nidoqueen is going to feel still okay here. But I mean, based on what we've seen so far, I think damage here just works out in his favor, and he is just going to continue to go for the damage as another Thunderbolt, as another Shadow Ball is fired out, as more Thunderbolts are doing. I'm looking at this damage, and I'm thinking Eviolite. I mean, that's Sheer Force Thunderbolt. You'd think that Haunter would be a little bit bulkier, but that's looking fair, or not, a little bit less bulky, rather. So it's taking hits pretty well. I'm pretty sure he's opted for a defensive one here with Taunt. He's going to take out the Nidoqueen 6-4 now in favor of Traverse City Thunderous. This is not looking the best for Manchester Manectric, but the Zygarde 10% does come in. But here's the thing. I think Haunter has done its job. He can just go for as much damage as he can, because it's really how he's winning. He even switches into Gyarados to dodge the 1,000 arrows, as Dragon Dance is used, but with that Intimidate, he's at normal damage. This is where it's going to come down to damage calcs with Stone Edge if he does carry it on the dog. I'm not too sure what the play is from here, but I don't think he gets the kill. And even if we see an early Mega, too, then he's going to lose all the damage. And that would be very, very important information for Ivan. He is going to go for the 1,000 arrows, gets a decent amount of damage on it, but Waterfall's also going to get a lot of damage down, as we do see the leftovers, which most likely confirms that Aggron is Mega. Big deal to note, Alomomola will make its way in, can tank up everything. He's not going to be worrying in the slightest. I'm trying to keep notes here, by the way, as we go through, so, you know, go from there. But, we are going to see a substitute come out here, and that might just be game, because you're going to have to break through that, and this thing's at +1. If it's got the coverage to sweep, it's going to be too difficult for it to manage everything else. And the Waterfall's even going to flinch to the Necrozma to boot. That's not what you want to see when you're trying to break this sub. Photon Geyser will come out. We'll probably break the sub, but at this point, the +1 is there. Yes, it's not Moxie boosting Gyarados, but with all of your Pokemon getting so weakened and getting outspent, with all of that healing that's now happened on Gyarados, Sucker Punch is not going to kill that. 10% is not going to outspeed. We might even see a check here. He does check it. Actually, that was a fair amount of damage, but if we didn't see a Alomomola get set up on, that would have been the kill. And unfortunately for Ivan, back to the drawing board. Looked good, but took so much damage. Never mind, he goes for the E-Speed, but I still think it's too late. 5-2. Zygarde 10% would have to carry the world. As Darmanitan can now come in, knows it can outspeed. You know, it's just not looking great for him at this point. And he now has to remember that playing this out correctly also looks in forms of how much he had to trade his HP to get something done. If you think about this, 29 turns in, killed off one Pokemon, has lost about 4.5 of his. Pain Split! This is a defensive Haunter if I've ever seen one, and this is just ripping through Manchester Benetric right now. I've never seen so much value on a Haunter before in my life outside of the PU metagame, but it's gonna do it for Traverse City Thunderous here today. As basically at this point, we're just waiting for game 1 to end because this is in the favor of Traverse City Thunderous. And this means now we have to think about this. Defensive Haunter can be destroyed by the likes of the Absol. But how long can he stand out here? He's going to try and scout, but the thing is, like with healing coming through and everything else, the taunt's going to happen. Yeah, it just makes the most sense. As now he can't wish again. Now the damage will just fly back through. This Haunter literally destroys the Alomomola. As just takes no damage from it. Don't even see maybe a knockoff on the Alomomola. It's trying to hide it potentially. But I think it's just going to be conceding it here. Game 1 is going to be going over to Traverse City Thunderous. Despite the fact we see the Haunter fall, it does not matter. As what started off the match will now end the match. That's going to be 1-0 so far for Traverse City. You have no idea how many things are being shifted on my desk right now. And I mean, that's pretty much what we saw was going to happen. You have to worry about the offensive momentum that Traverse City can take. Because now, when you're thinking here, when you're sitting here and you're going, well, I want to make sure that I can take hits the best I can. I swear I'll get this right one day. You want to take the hits you want to trade, but when Traverse City is always coming out on top with the trades and now has 2 Pokemon to shut down the walls, that's basically... It's a pretty big tank here when Ivan goes back to the drawing board, because then you want to say, well, what happens if he goes on the offense? He's going to have the offense that can manage that. I think the Zygarde 10% is going to carry him quite a bit as well as the Absol. But against that Feeny, he needs to bring Galvantula. He needs something to do more damage. And I think now Ivan's pretty much learned from that Haunter that is being super obnoxious with not taking a lot of damage outside of the Absol trying to knock it off. But with all those things tanking up into the Pain Split, healing it up, that Haunter got more value than we ever expected it ever would in this playoffs. So, good on Sharking to call that, having the answers and going from there. But now, do we see an adaptation? Can Sharking win it faster? Does he need to reveal anything? Remember, because the teams don't change, people can track what's going on. So, if the other side of the bracket, I Am Groot and Fortnite Ninjas are watching this match right now, they're watching what Pokemon have which, and we know what's been revealed. And for Ivan, he may have to show more of his hand. What new Pokemon has he shown? The Necrozma has shown, the Alomomola has shown up in the playoffs. Obviously, that information is brand new to the tournament, but defensive core didn't work. Roselia might not do it this match. I know it's going to handle the Feeny, but maybe the Galvantula comes in, goes a little more offensive here, brings the Sticky Web support, tries to get something like that going. Because otherwise, what more can you really do when it comes down to this? Because that was... I mean, that was the value we expected Darmanitan to get anyways, but to see that much happen is kind of like, there's no damage, there's no answer back. It was such actually an interesting setup here with these Pokemon. And in the finals, it's going to be, when I think about if he goes against Fortnite, if he goes against Fortnite or I Am Groot, that's a lot of damage that might not be just offensive in terms of choice items or stuff like that to go punch them in. He usually won by having more offense, but if he's going to be able to control it like that throughout this playoffs, we're good to go. So, I don't know. It's up to Ivan to find the way in, because it's a pretty big deal here for Ivan to try and get a win. Like we said, I expected it to not be favorable at all for Manchester, but even getting a single victory off here, I think usually when this happens, Ivan will adapt more and more. It's just whether or not he actually finds the correct answer, and he has to do it in 2 more matches. So it's gonna be a curious adaptation here, but there has to be an adaptation. Roselia is not gonna do it. I think Galvantula brings something, despite the fact that a lot of Pokemon are not gonna care about the speed drop. I think you just bring, if you had a more offensive Galvantula. Maybe that would work. But I think Alomomola, Roselia leaves too much space. Maybe we see, because we actually, I just realized we have Alomomola, Roselia, Necrozma, and then an offensive Nidoqueen. So if he goes more bulky, I think he just gets set up on even harder. But we'll see in game number 2 because, I mean, I don't have to tell you what the results are. They're going to show you on the field for me. Here we go. Where's my music? Beautiful. Game number 2 coming at you. Traverse City Thunder's up 1-0. That's the same team from Manchester Manectric. The Galvantula actually makes an appearance. Okay, so what does this mean? At least Galvantula's Thunders will do a tiny bit more damage than the Thunderbolt that we were seeing from the Nidoqueen, let alone the knocked off Nidoqueen. So this is cool. I like this. I don't think you necessarily will see Sticky Web used. I think you'll just see the Feeny will not like taking damage. Yes, it could probably take a hit and then go back against the likes of, like, it'll probably just fire back, but at least it'll be getting the HP down. It'll be a victory in some way for Ivan. But Darmanitan versus Galvantula lead. If this is Focus Sash, it's been broken, but it is outspeeding, so that we can confirm is a Scarf Darmanitan as the Sticky Web is used. So knowing that's a Scarf Darmanitan is actually good information for the opposite bracket to watch and for Ivan to know towards game number 3. Oh, mixing up my threes. Well, let's see. The Alolan can tank up the hits really well. His Pursuit's actually used. The Spider's gone. Traverse City Thunders has an answer for everything, as that's basically, well, that's the answer to Feeny that he had, because Roselia is out. Now the Nidoqueen has to come in and try and do as much damage as possible before it loses it. The Zygarde 10%, though, being sent in on the double, as the Haunter is also sent in. Okay, not too bad, because now the 1,000 arrows will set. We'll have to see a double switch coming out here for Traverse City Thunders. The speed is down, the surge is up. The 1,000 arrows will do a decent amount of damage. Not as much as he'd like to see, obviously, but not bad for Manchester. And because Traverse City Thunders doesn't want to take too much damage, knowing that there still is that looming threat of the Nidoqueen plus the Absol on the back, taking unnecessary damage doesn't make much sense. So good play by Ivan. But Traverse City Thunder is still feeling super safe because they know they have the Feeny in the back. The Galvantula is dead, so this Pokemon can make a lot more defensive switches in on these physical attackers. And that is something that we've noted quite a bit, despite the fact that we see more special attackers than ever on Manchester's team at one time. Once you have a kind of control over the Pokemon that will be doing the damage, Traverse City Thunder is going to be perfectly fine between this Aggron, this Feeny, and everything else. Defog is super standard. Not coming back either, although I don't think it was going to get him much. It's just for his own sake to be able to speed everything up. Zygarde 10% is going to be sent in as the Haunter once again is sent in. Ivan reading these Haunter plays. I like it, as once again the Feeny has to come in. 1,000 arrows comes through. How many times can he get this little chip damage? It's something. It's not going to win him the game. Wait a minute, the Z-Power comes out. Tectonic Rage will come in. Doesn't get the damage as Nature's Madness. What is up with people using this move? Kill the freaking dog. Murder it in cold blood, for God's sake. Oh my God. Anyways, I'm sick of seeing these Nature's Madnesses, but that's a very interesting reveal. The Nature's Madness, not the Moonblast. It can still be on that moveset, but he will get the Feeny out of the way with that Z move. And now Darmanitan has to come in and say, give me a Pokemon to take its life. Alomomola makes the most sense, and U-turn is most likely also the play. Manchester Manectric has no reason to stay in here. There's a lot, actually, to be fair, if he predicts the U-turn, it would be a really good 1,000 arrows, but Superpower was the move used. It is going to get a lot more damage than what U-turn would have done, and I think it also means Traverse City Thunders could see the play. Considering that Ivan has read him twice, it feels safe for Traverse City Thunders to just be like, I can kill off the Zygarde 10% at this range, but the Wish is going to be used as the Haunter comes in. Now, we know this Haunter has been a giant pain for the likes of Manchester to manage. I think Absol actually comes in now and threatens because it has the Wish behind it. As long as there's no crit coming out for the Sludge Wave, the crit doesn't happen, neither does the Poison. And now this is a Mega Absol primed and ready to say hi, as a knockoff will be happening. The Aggron will come in. I expect the knockoff to not knock a single thing off, as that is a Mega Aggron. It has been shown. This is good so far. The Necrozma will be coming in, so this is where it becomes interesting. Heavy Slam's going to go do absolutely nothing because, you know, crystals are pretty heavy. So not too bad. This is a better looking game number 2. Photon Geyser is going to be used predicting a switch. It's not going to do anything to the Aggron, but damage is damage. A Stealth Rock will be set up. Things will have to take chip damage. There is nothing to be able to defog or to spin away on this team. Lulmuck will be coming in, will be immune as the Heat Wave is used. Good prediction, doesn't get the 10% burn. But now Little Muck is going to get a free knockoff. So what's going to be used instead? Never mind. He goes for the Earth Power. He's actually staying in. Knockoff's going to do a lot of damage, and there goes their healing. Don't know about that play, Ivan. But maybe predicted something else to happen. Zolomo will be coming in. Another knockoff wasn't used. The Gunk Shot's going to be used and miss. Very interesting, actually, decision by Sharking. I would have expected a second knockoff knowing he wins these exchanges. But, nonetheless, the Wish is getting across. The knockoff does come through, does get rid of the leftovers. And because with the Stealth Rock set up, damage will stick on the walls, except for Lomomola, who could get the burn here. Doesn't happen as a double knockoff is used. The Poison Touch, though! I would say Salt in the Wound, but it's more like Cyanide in the Wound, as that's a Lomomola, no leftovers, and luckily not toxic. It will be poisoned, as a Scald will be coming out. I think burning this thing is okay. You can't toxic, so there's a little bit of chip damage. It could mean more for the pain split in the end for Traverse City Thunderous, but it's better than nothing, knowing that you're tanking up an Eviolite Haunter. Taunt will be happening, though, as the Nidoqueen does come in. Now, Nidoqueen can't do much of anything. The only thing that is the caveat here for Manchester Man is he has his Life Orb. So he'll be doing 30% more damage here, which does bring this into a big position. I'm curious to see if we're going to see a Pain Split happen or most likely just a Shadow Ball. But the Spadef Drop is also a big thing to point out because that's going to do a lot more damage. Now that I look at it, Shadow Ball is going to be much better play. Luckily, no recoil because Sheer Force on Nidoqueen means it uses moves, it gets rid of its stats. It's actually going to go for the Pain Split instead. But between that... Oh, wait, we saw... Oh, it's only 4... I thought it was 57%. Okay, never mind. That makes more sense. And now with Spadef Drop, that is going to doom the Nidoqueen. And that was actually a very good read. I just read the numbers wrong. No big deal. But, yeah. We have Haunter staying alive. But Absol is safe. Yes, it will take rock damage. But Zygarde 10% can also come in. Pretty sure it'll be outsped, though. I don't know why... Oh, never mind. Okay. I don't know what that build on the Haunter... I don't know how to build defensive Haunter. But nonetheless, Zygarde is a fast dog. I thought Zygarde... I keep thinking Zygarde's like base 70. I don't know why. Don't ask, Chad. Now Gyarados comes in. Most times you see Traverse City send this thing in. He says it's time to win. It's time to sweep. The Necrozma does have to come in. But the thing is... You know... yeah... You need to keep this thing out of the sub. And now it's just going to go for DD. And we're back back to what game 1 looked like. Now, here's the thing, though. We know that the Sucker Punch does a lot of damage, on top of the fact Sucker Punch plus E-Speed will finish this off. But what is the trade you're going to go for? If you get flinched here, you're in big trouble. Photon Geyser does come out. The damage needs to be laid down on this Gyarados to get it into that range. We need about 75 to 80% brought down. The 1% live, as Photon Geyser will get that good damage down on the Gyarados, and now it's in Sucker Punch, extreme speed range. But that's a lot of Pokemon you have to sack off here with this +1 Murderfish. The Absol will now come in. We know how much damage it will take. Can he take the damage back? The Sucker Punch is predicted as substitutes. Too easy for Traverse City Thunder. It says I can play my own mind games against you, Ivan. And that should be the game now. As Absol's down, the damage is not there. There is nothing left to deal. And we are one game away from our first finalist for the ProPokeBowl Season 5 playoffs. Right after we get this cleanup. Now, here's the thing. If Murderfish stays in, we'll have to see the coverage move on the Gyarados. If it has Crunch, we're going to see it. The sub is used. He might just set up the +6 here, knowing he's not going to take any damage. Plus the Toxic, plus Waterfall will help him protect that entire moveset. I'm not saying that like it's sketchy, but again, information hiding towards the finals, a big deal here. As Alomomola, not even going to try and just wish it up. He knows he can't win. Ivan is just contemplating right now what it's going to take to win a reverse sweep here. He's got to pull an I Am Groot from quarterfinals. But at this time, it's not... It looked more promising, but it's not enough in the tank as Traverse City Thunderous go up 2-0 in the semifinals. Excuse me. Yes, manly cough, of course. Oh boy. Well, what do I tell you guys? What do I say at this point? It's do or die for Ivan to keep his championship, his 2-time championship chances alive. But right now, it's not looking good. Sharking looking like an absolute monster, having just an answer for Ivan. Now, if it's an answer for Ivan, will this be an answer to everything else that I Am Groot and or Fortnite Ninjas brought? Because at this point, can we talk about a reverse sweep? The answer is maybe a game taken off. Game 2 did look better for Manchester, though. Started forcing out the Haunter and getting the Zygarde 10% in at the right time. But just, you know, it's not enough. There's just, the Gyarados comes out at the exact perfect time. The damage is just racking up on the side of Manchester Manectric. The taunts are ruining him. The fact he has to think about that that Feeny gets pursuit trapped by Muck. We just see Sharking playing better on the day so far. And that's the way that it's going to be. I mean, there's a difference in experience for sure, but I think it's also just having a team composition that works so well for what Sharking is doing. I don't know what more Ivan could do. I think that is the best thing. And, you know, maybe postseason we could say, could Ivan made any trades? Were there any power picks that Ivan could have looked towards and grabbed it? And the answer is maybe, but, you know, if we don't see all of these, if we see a lot of Pokemon not used, if we don't see new faces used throughout the semifinals here, if we don't see new things in game number 3, I think that means Ivan knew he was going into the playoffs potentially licked. I don't know at this point if his team was going to cut it to make it all the way to a championship. I would argue no. I don't think his draft was actually going to be strong enough to take down the Titans of the tournament, but I think the Galvantula was a good start, and now it becomes, he knows that the pursuit trap's going to happen. Can he play around the switches? There's going to be a lot of double switching for both these coaches. You already see Traverse City Thunders making a good amount of switches, knowing he doesn't want to risk all that extra damage because he still fears the Mega Absol and the Nidoqueen cleaning stuff up. We see things doing closer to 40 to 50% per hit. You don't want to have to keep switching and taking that nonstop when Ivan can make good double switches. Plus, with an Alomomola, he can make a lot of soaking hits and then switch out with Regenerator. So what's going to happen with this? What actually will go forward in this? Because we don't see anything new from Sharking. We have noted a few moves. We know the Pursuit and the Gunk Shot and the Knockoff are on the Alolan Muck. Like, I'm just taking a look at the sheets right now because that's what I'm keeping track of. I have highlighting all these things. We know it's a Mega Aggron. We know that's leftovers on the bit. We know it's leftovers on the Gyarados. And that can't be switched, so in the finals he's going in knowing that. We also know that is a Choice Scarf Darmanitan. So what's left to show off? We saw the Dragon Dance on the Gyarados. Everything else just being hidden. Yeah, we see Heavy Slam on Mega Aggron. Ooh, surprise there. But can Ivan use this information? He sees Nature's Madness and he sees Taunt and Defog. So I don't think this information is going to be enough for Ivan to even work with. It's, believe, chat. You have to believe. Because if Manchester Manectric starts taking it back, that's the reverse sweep we want to see. We want to see 5 games all the time. Do we always get them? No. But would we like to see them? Of course, we're fans. We want to see everybody do well. We have our favorite coaches that we're rooting on. Make sure you get your hype in chat for your favorite teams, as one of these teams will be leaving after this series as we get into game number 3. Here we go. Manchester Manectric says Mienshao is my next answer. Forget the Nidoqueen. Traverse City Thunderous says, sure, whatever, man, let's go. Now, here's the thing. With Mienshao, yes, it might have Poison Jab or the like. It will have High Jump Kick to hit the Alolan Muck. It will also potentially have, well, it will have the Knockoff to handle that Haunter. So it is a good switch. The problem is, well, then again, he also has Regenerator, so maybe it'll work out for him. Darmanitan versus Alomomola lead. So we will see a Protect coming out just to scout to see what this Scarfed Darmanitan will use. And we do see the U-turn, so Alomomola will have to stay in, just go for something. Do have to be careful about the Gyarados, though. That's the sucky thing about Volt Turn. Volt Switch and U-turn screws this game over. Because now he's like, well, I know you can't do anything unless you burn me, but he doesn't even take that risk. He can go into Haunter, which has been doing so well for him before. And it's going to be Feeny instead, just trying to get the ball rolling even faster here, because he can go for Nature's Madness, but it's not going to matter at this point, because a switch in will be healed off no matter how much damage is done, unless it's a super effective super hit. Darmanitan will be that double switch, as we do see the Galvantula switched in here. Now, we know this Galvantula was outsped, but it could try and go for something. We're going to see that double switch to the Alomomola. The U-turn, once again, the critical hit just to say, hey, you can't win against Volt Turn because Pokemon is a great game with this move. Now the Haunter comes in. Now without the Wish, this is going to be damage that's going to stick for at least a turn. If you predict a Wish Protect to come out, then it's going to be painful for Manchester because he's most likely going to get set up on. We might see that Gyarados come in and get the sub up. But because Wish wasn't used, we don't expect the Gyarados to come in. The Absol instead offensively is going to be used as the taunt does come out. Okay, well played by Ivan. So this is good. The Absol comes in, no damage done to it, still fully healed. The Feeny has to come in and answer once again. The Absol is going to Mega up. Go for the Fire Blast. Predicting the Aggron to come in. I kind of like that. However, yeah, it would have done more damage to the Aggron at the very least because it would have been Mega'd up. So it would have been neutral damage and it's not dealing with filter. But nonetheless, the Galvantula will come in now. The Moon Blast is revealed with the special attack drop. How many 30% can you get, Shark King? Give this man a break as Zygarde's going to come in on a fairy move. That's tilt if I've ever seen it. A prediction not worth it at all, as this is a win condition for him. A triple switch into the Alomomola as the damage is another special attack drop. Let him walk home, Thundurus. He's going to be taunted. He cannot wish. There are no wishes left. It is demise for Manchester Manectric as game number 3 is just hacks upon good play upon Feeny saying, I am Komon here. A third special attack drop. Stop it, man. Give him a break. The Nature's Madness will cut this thing in half. Yes, the Moonlight will come out. Good lord, it's worse than Scald. He can keep cutting in half because he knows he won't take a lot of damage, especially with the special attack drop. Yes, you can go for Photon Geyser to try and get tiny amounts of damage here, but the taunt will cut that Moonlight down. And now you're stuck in a situation where Nature's Madness gets a ton of value. You're stuck in a situation where Moonblast gets more value. It's too much for Ivan right now. Look at the damage that this defensive Pokemon deals. It's just not helping him at all. A 4th special attack drop in a row. 4, 4, 4. It's not about how it's affecting the match, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody here. It is about how it affects you mentally. The fact that Feeny has controlling everything Manchester wants to do. The Alomomola will make its way back in. Nature's Madness makes the most sense to cut this thing in half. The taunt will be faster than the wish. And you have to keep wondering, where does Ivan come back from this? Wait a minute. We have a disconnect here from Traverse City Thundurus. Not saying that I want this to happen, but this leaves a little bit of tightness in. He will be back, I assume. Let's take some stock while the match has stopped. There you go. The taunt comes back in. He will try to stay in and go for the wish. Try and predict if anything changes. The thing is, you can waste the taunts all you want. He's got 27 more because taunt is not a competitive move. Now Ivan disconnects. Dang, that was very synchronized. He was taunted out of the match. But let's take stock here. What have we seen from all of these Pokemon? Right? There's... Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, you can send this thing on Moonblast. 4 for 5. The streak of special attack drops and draw. As the taunt will come out on the Galvantula. This is not bad, but I think Feeny can take this hit and kill this thing off. It's Thunderbolt and not Thunder, and we've seen this before. When you opt for accuracy, you opt to accept they're going to do less damage. That is T-Bolt happening, so it's going to bring it under half with the Mienshao making its way in. Poison Jab potentially primed and ready here, but the crit will happen. We can't check to see how bulky it'll be, but it is a Life Orb Mienshao. Good to track, because that means Darmanitan can now come in and threaten the kill, knowing it'll be faster. And the Gyarados instead, so he's saying you don't have Stone Edge. And, well, Shark King would be correct. Stone Edge not used on the Mienshao, so Necrozma will be coming in as Dragon Dance, you straight up, doesn't even need the sub, he knows the sub will be broken, he's just going to get the +1 here, he knows he can tank a second hit, probably go for +2, and just win. Yep, he's going to do exactly that. Necrozma will have to go for the Photon Geyser to threaten the sub that could have happened. It is a decent amount of damage, but the problem is, if you kill off everything, I mean, the only thing is, now he can actually get 2 kills. Oh, he misses the kill! That's unfortunate for Traverse City, as now another Photon Geyser flows through. Now he's in range to die to extreme speed. Doesn't have to beat the Sucker Punch. So, not the worst thing here for Manchester Manectric. A little bit of low rolls here will save him the pain. He still goes into Absol, though. He notes that he is under sub range. Now, having said that, he can still go for sub predicting the Sucker Punch. And he does go for the Dragon Dance. That makes a hell of a lot more sense. What am I saying? The Mind Games comes in. This would have been solved with the Zygarde 10% just threatening by killing with the Extreme Speed. But he tries to go for the Sucker Punch. And now he's dead. And I think we can say, ladies and gentlemen, Traverse City Thunderous are ready to step into the finals arena. As Zygarde now will have to show how much damage it could do. And he's just going to forfeit, knowing the game is over. A 3-0 in favor of the tournament favorite. GG, gentlemen. It's a clean sweep here for Traverse City Thunderous. Expected, yes, most likely. But at the end of the day, I think like we said, what we were talking about before, you know, it's that difference in skill to take a game off of here. Traverse City Thunderous in the prime having their own team, playing their own strategy. For Ivan would have been a win in itself just to even take a single game off, but you know, it's just such a big discrepancy between Traverse City and Manchester Manectric on the day. He will be moving on to the finals to face the winner between our next series between I Am Groot and Fortnite Ninjas. Jeebus, I'm tired. I need to go get myself some tea. We're going to take a break here, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, that second series will be happening. Keep in mind, after the conclusion of the second semifinals, we'll be taking another break to let the finalists prepare, as we will be crowning that champion after one more final best of 5 tonight. We'll see you in 10. Thank you very much for watching.